Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and it seems a lot of crazy stuff is happening during the election and what's going on right now. Luckily, we still have a few more hours for voting, but it doesn't seem going too great. Alright. Well, let's get directly into it. This might be a little bit longer video than usual. Not nearly as long as a 40-minute video, guys, so don't worry about that. It won't be nowhere near that long, or maybe 10-15 minutes, give or take. So let's get directly into it. This is not normal stuff. Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake addresses voting machine problems in Maricopa County. She goes on to say, well, we'll read this whole thing here. Republican Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake held a press conference at approximately 12:45 p.m. MST to address the reported complications voters are experiencing in areas of Maricopa County where nearly 24 polling locations have malfunctioning machines. Do you think this is normal, guys? Lake asked reporters. My question is, do you think what's happening here in Maricopa County is normal? We've had problems after problems, and there's a reason we decided to change locations. We were going to go to a pretty Republican area, but I woke up this morning, and within minutes of the polls opening up, I started getting people calling, voters in tears, calling my personal number, saying what's going on. The tabulators aren't working. They told me to put up my ballot into a box, and they would drive it downtown to count it. This is not normal stuff. At 9 a.m. today, 1 in 5 ballots were not successfully going through voting tabulators and were being set aside to be counted separately, according to Nicole Gregg, a local reporter for ABC 15. A representative from the Secretary of State's office told Timcast that roughly 20 voting centers in Phoenix are experiencing technical issues with machines. They gotta fix this problem, like I said. This is competency. I hope it's not malice, but we're gonna fix it. We're gonna win, and when we win, there's gonna be come to Jesus for elections in Arizona. She instructed voters to stay in line until they cast their vote. The people of Arizona would walk over hot coals, and they would walk over broken glass to vote today. She said, and I know that they can't stand in line for a couple hours if they have to. I know they'll stand in line for 8 hours if they have to. Lake expressed concerns over voters fearing disfranchised, including one woman whom she saw walk away from a line. Do you think this is normal? She asked the reporters again. You're young, you didn't vote back in the day when I started voting, where you walked up, cast your ballot, they counted it right there in the small precinct, and you knew the results the night of the election. We can't keep having elections run this way. Lake said she was embarrassed that her state has drawn attention over flaws in the election process. She added if elected, she will oversee election reform in Arizona and ensure that honest, transparent elections take place moving forward. If we don't have honest elections, we don't have a country, she said. When a reporter from CBS News asked if Lake would consider running as vice president alongside Donald Trump if he seeks re-election in 2024, Lake replied, "I've answered this question. I am going to not only be governor of the Arizona for 4 years, I'm going to do 2 terms. I'm going to be your worst freaking nightmare for 8 years, and we will reform the media as well. We're going to make you guys into journalists again, so get ready." Another reporter asked Lake how she can have confidence in her own win if she doesn't have confidence in the election. "I'm just not confident in the people who were elected to run these elections," she replied. "They're not good at their jobs. Bunch of bureaucrats who don't know what the hell they're doing. I've always said we've got to win by a mile to eke out a 1-inch win, but we will win." A final question was posed by a reporter asking if Lake supports extending voting hours. The candidate deferred to her attorney, Dillon. "Look, there are 6.5 hours left to vote right now," Dillon said. "And if you're in line at 7 o'clock, you can still vote. I think it's not something that we want to see happen. If the voting problems persist, we will have to address that issue later." Dillon added, "I urge people to go and vote on time and vote in person today so we don't have drama. That said, there are a lot of lawyers here in the state ready to take action. We are on it. And I hope that litigation is necessary here. Is not necessary here." So that's what's going in Maricopa County. As I did a video before, but I just wanted to let you guys know that Kari Lake has done a response to this, and they are looking to do litigation if at all possible. Which I'm going to be honest here, guys, that may be the case, because it doesn't seem that Arizona right now is having a it's not looking to be very good. And here's the thing that we want to say for everyone that's involved. The Democrats are scared. And the reason why they're scared is because they're afraid of a massive red tsunami. Because Kari Lake will absolutely fix all the corruption stuff that is happening in Arizona and be one of the better states just like Florida is. I'll have you know that you vote for Democrats, you deserve everything bad that happens to you because you know exactly what happens when you vote for that typical side. If you refuse to vote for the opposite side to see what changes, what could improve onto your life. You deserve everything negative that would potentially be happening to you because you keep on voting for the side that keeps ruining you. I specifically had a small, I specifically messaged one person that said I was going to vote Democrat. I specifically said, if you vote Democrat and you've been screwed by the people that have been in office in your own state, and you're not even liking the person that did this to you, why don't you vote differently? See what happens. You don't know. It may actually improve. But of course, when we live when you live in a specifically hard place that is, I would say, California, you're not going to get very much luck here. But change the way you vote. But this is what's happening in elections. Now, Desantis has done this as well. Desantis' administration blocks Biden's effort to monitor the Florida election. Now, tell me, guys, why do the Democrats want to monitor Republican states, hard Republican states, or go to the extent to that they're doing in Arizona? It's because, as I said before, they're afraid. And if people are going to say, oh, it's going to be worse under Republican rule, possibly. We don't know. All we do know is that the Democrats are the reason why that we have increased increased taxes. The reason why we're going to have 87,000 more IRS at your door because you voted for a Democrat. The reason why our inflation's up by over 8%. I think the last time I saw it was 12%. And why food is so hard to come by. Why and why gas in certain areas are $7 a gallon, mostly being located in California. And that's also due to the fact because you have politicians that are in California that increase the sales tax. So not only that, you have on top of the gas tax, you also have the inflation making it worse. This is all done by the Democrats. Why is everything worse in California in terms of criminal and crime? Because you have George Soros elected DAs not punishing crime. It's not very hard to realize this. People need to understand they need to vote differently in order to have change. Now, if the Republicans don't do good, obviously we're kind of screwed because we have a choice between the horrible Democrats and the horrible Republicans. Right now, I'd rather choose the Republicans because at least right now they're not under rule and they're not completely destroying my country. Florida Department of State General Counsel Brad McCavey rejected the Biden administration's attempt to eternally monitor several county elections in a Monday letter. The letter follows a statement from the United States Department of Justice, DOJ, announcing their intention to monitor elections in 24 states. Oh, why? Why exactly would that be? What is the point of monitoring elections right now? By the way, what's the point? Let the states do their job, most of which bling Republican or purple toss-ups. Oh, I wonder why that's the case. Earlier today, the Florida Department of State received copies of your letters to Miami-Dade and Broward counties in which you seem to indicate that the Department of Justice will send monitors and site polling places in these counties, read the letter. We also understand you sent a similar letter to the Palm Beach County. The letter continued, but the Department of Justice monitors are not permitted inside a polling place under Florida law. Section 102.031 of the Florida statutes lists of people who may enter any polling room or polling place. Department of Justice personnel are not included on the list, even if they could qualify as law enforcement under Section 102.031 of the Florida statutes, absent some evidence concerning the need for federal intrusion or some federal statute that preempts Florida law. The purpose of federal law enforcement signing polling places would be counterproductive and could potentially undermine confidence in the election. This is what I'm talking about, people. Why do you think Democrats are doing this and going to this length? This is the reason why. You want to see the reason. You want to see it. This is a huge problem that I have with this in particular. When you do not be underestimated if there is a massive potential civil war or people getting shot or causing huge issues when the election's over and the Democrats still win. It will be because the Democrats are actively doing something very suspicious. And I don't know why this is. And when it says that, when this article says that it's happening only in Republican states, I wonder why. this is not really a surprise anymore. The Democrats are trying their best to prevent the Republicans from winning. This is the reason why we say we go out and we go out in force. We go out in a way that where we vote, where to the Democrats cannot do but concede to the Republican Party, to the point to where we have the ability to make it a massive red tsunami, not just a red tsunami, a tidal wave so massive that the Democrats had to concede, had to say, maybe our policies are not the greatest, we should start doing something that actually benefits the people. That way, we don't have to fight over whether it's Democrat or Republican. We just fight whether which policies are better. And right now, I don't think the Democrat policies are doing great. Because, by the way, people who are honest, people who are not distrusted, people who actually you believe that they're going to win, their policies are great, they don't go out of their ways to cheat people. They go to their way to actually know that their policies are good and their ways to do things. But at the end of the day, this is just the reality of things, alright? So, let's continue on with the article. Indeed, your letters do not detail the need for federal monitors in these counties. The letter continued, none of the counties are currently subject to any election related to federal consent. Your letters simply provide a non-exhaustive list of federal election statutes as the basis for this action, without pointing to any specific statutory authorization. When asked for specific authorization during our phone call this evening, you did not provide any. Accordingly, the Florida Department of State invokes its authority under Section 101.58 of the Florida statutes to send its monitors to the 3 targeted jurisdictions. These monitors will ensure that there is no interference with the voting process. Since the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Civil Rights Division has regularly monitored elections in the field and jurisdictions around the country to protect the rights of voters. Read the DOJ's Monday statement announcing their intent to monitor elections. The Civil Rights Division will also take complaints from the public nationwide regarding possible violations of the federal voting rights laws through its call center. The Civil Rights Division enforces the federal voting rights laws that protect the rights of all citizens to assess the ballot. The DOJ Department's statement continued. Monitors will include personnel from the Civil Rights Division from the U.S. Attorney's offices. In addition, the division will also deploy monitors from the Office of Personnel Management where authorized federal court order. Division personnel will also maintain contact with state and local election officials. The Civil Rights Division's voting section enforces civil provisions of federal statutes that protect the right to vote, including the Voting Rights Act, the Uninformed and Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act, the National Voter Registration Act, the Help America Vote Act, and the Civil Rights Act. The Division's Disability Rights section enforces the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, to ensure that persons with disabilities have full and equal opportunity to vote. The division's criminal section enforces federal criminal statutes that prohibit voter intimidation and voter suppression based on race, color, national origin, or religion. Broward County, Miami-Dade County, and Palm Beach County were included in the DOJ's list, along with counties and cities in 23 other states. Yeah, this is very, very suspicious. I don't think the federal government should have any place at all in voting areas, period. It is up to the states to fix it. And, of course, the states to file lawsuits, etc., whenever things seem to be misawry. The federal government should have no place in the majority of cases. The federal government should only come in at the most extreme. And right now, this is not the extreme. I don't know why we're going to need to have federal people into place, but it seems to be happening. All right, guys, make sure you vote. Go out there, stay safe, and as always, take care.